and welcome to the 707 show. I'm Moira Bush.
Dwayne Richards.
And we're your hosts tonight, and we're going to talk about...
money.
Oh, that dreaded subject, money.
Oh, it doesn't have to be dreaded.
Does that have to be dreaded?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I mean, if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, it is a bit of a dreadful subject. So I'm glad that we get a chance to have a chat, because you and I often talk about money and about people who come to us with money problems, and we're going to get to do it live with everybody listening in. How's that?
It's exciting.
So, welcome to the 707 show, and we generally go live at 7 minutes past 7. It always depends a bit on technology, and we are a group on Facebook called the 707 show, a public group. You are welcome to join. You're welcome to invite your friends to join, and then you'll be able to comment and join in the chat. So very soon you will see that our producer Michael will put on screen here your comments, and we can see your comments live, and you can ask questions and you can participate and certainly give us your opinions. So let's see who's already joined us here. Oh, Paul, hello darling hubby, my hubby's joined in, and Evan has joined us. Charmaine, hello Angel. Shirley Baines has joined us as well. Fabulous. So we hope that you enjoyed tonight's topic of money, and we would like you to tell us what your feeling is about money and your belief system about money, and we'll have a conversation around that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Do you love money?
In a way, yeah, maybe that's a loaded question, because that feeds at the end of it, like not to have emotions about money, but when I was younger, I used to love money. As lots of kids when we were younger, I had a paper route. So when I had my paper route, we actually collected money from our customers. Yeah. So you'd get home at the end of the week, you'd count up your money, you deposit it in the bank, and you had to make your payment back to pay the bill. So it was interesting, and we've talked about this before, that when we were younger, even today though, there's a physical connection to money. Yeah. That we had this but as we move to like digital, like debit cards and credit cards, then we lose our connection. So that feeling of money.
Jan is saying we look sharp. We try to get casual on this show, but we're a little bit dressed up tonight. Yeah. It's very nice, thank you. Hello, and Karen's joined us. Stephanie's joined us. Hello, my darlings. Yeah, so our spiritual guru, our mentor is Melissa, and she wrote a fabulous book. For those of you who don't know this book, it's called What the Seeker Found by Melissa Jolly, and this is an extraordinary book. And in this book, she answers all the big questions in life. Yeah. And she also put in her book a section on money, what the whole fuss around money is. So the whole thing comes through a very higher consciousness spiritual answer to money. And she put here on page 189, why do I never have enough money? This is that subject. She says, take a look at what you are projecting onto money. What is it to you? Chances are you never think about money in a truly realistic way. There's always some kind of projection onto money. For some it is survival, for some it is love, for some it is so real that it becomes a reason for existence. So which is it for you? So we did a poll, didn't we?
We did.
What did you think of the poll?
I liked the poll, because again, we talked a little bit about this last week, and then we talked after the poll went up today. But I put my answer in earlier today as well.
I see. You chose energy and value exchange. You in there, yeah. But that was the top of it. Most people said that money is energy, and value exchange was second, and then struggle, stressful, and freedom. Nobody actually said it's about it. Nobody really went into that it's love, spiritual, material, barter system. So it seems to be that we're in agreement here, certainly with the group that took part in the poll, that money is energy. You believe that?
I believe that money... And it was interesting because I put this question out about a week or a week and a half ago to my timeline as well. And some people said, well, money is a form of energy, because then it was, well, money is just man-made. So then it was interesting because we also had a discussion going there, and I said, well, money, and one of my quotes was, we talked about that, is that that money is my form of exchange of energy. So if you deliver, and you are, so you're my mentor, so you're giving me a service, and the way to return that energy that you give me is by me
Yeah, so
paying my
my
mentoring.
Yeah, so for the exchange of services, you get the money. So why do we not have money flow? What is the block? That's what we want to get to
That's a good
tonight.
question.
What is the block? Why does money, if money is energy and energy flows freely, and yet there are some of us in our businesses where the cash flow slows down or dries up, or we go into negative cash flow, into debt, what stops the energy of money flowing? What, in your opinion? Because the great thing about having this conversation with you, Dwayne, is you had this life where you were a CPA, you did the whole kind of serious financial advice guru that you were, and then you went through this spiritual awakening and opening and raising awareness, and you became aware of money as being something other than the material thing. You became aware of it as being energy. And you've seen both streams, the material and the spiritual stream. So I want to know, what do you think? What's the block? What's the block on the energy of money?
It's interesting because it's like our patterns and beliefs. So we've inherited them from our parents, from our society, from past lives. Even we'll talk about that. But I think part of it was, like, again, growing up, we were taught to save. So we put money, like I saw squirrels, putting nuts away for the winter, or we put money away for a rainy day.
Did your parents tell you to save?
Yeah, some saving, and then my dad.
Do you still save now?
Not as much right now.
Okay, but
and we'll talk about that. So we kind of went from one way. So again, when I came out of university in the late '90s, things were really good working for the tech. So we got the RSP matching. So we put all this money into our RSPs, like the government tells us to. And then when life happens, you don't have access to it. So we've put it there for a rainy day. And what happens when you plan for rainy days? You get more rainy days. Only then, in certain ways, you don't have. If you put money into real estate or into RSPs, you don't necessarily have them. It's not liquid. It's not easy to access it when a hiccup happens. Okay. So then you kind of go the other way. It's like, wow, I'm just going to live and I did this. So when I went into the personal development world, I was going to live for the day. I'll spend. Oh, I'm spiritual. I'll spend
now.
Today.
God will look after me. I know that one. Yeah.
And then even when I didn't necessarily have the money, it's like, well, it will. When the credit card bill comes, the money will just be there.
Oh God! And then you get to that point where the bills arrive. We're talking about experience there. When the bills arrive and you don't even want to open the envelope, so you have such fear around it. Yeah. You won't even consciously look at what you've created. Okay, with that unawareness, and
then we have conscious. these things, and then all of a sudden it starts like there's phone calls. Now you're starting to like screening your calls because you're afraid that you owe somebody some money and they're calling to say, where's my money? So then we went from this side way over to here and now come back into the middle.
So we've had this scam thing happen in Canada recently. What was those?
You guys in India.
It's someone in India pretending to be the Inland Revenue or Receiver of Revenue, the tax man, saying, hey, you owe us money and if you don't pay, we're going to basically kill you, kind of thing. And I remember I got one of those calls and I'm thinking, I'm not even in this country with any legal status. I mean, I'm still in pending process, and yet they're telling me I owe them money. So for me it was pretty but there was a little knot in my stomach. I did have a little fearful go, and it was terrible.
But I had that because again I was getting them like once or twice a day, and then I got when I first. The same thing, that knot, that right here, and it's like that anxious, that anxiety, and then I got thinking, like, wait a second, no, I'm up to date on my on both my sales tax for my business and on my personal taxes, and I don't owe anybody any money, so I'm like, no, I'm good. But even as a CPA, and this is why when I work with my clients, it's to help them because I'm like, even as a CPA, someone who is aware, I still had that momentary fear of...
It's that same, I don't know, the audience might know what this is about, but please tell us if you have that same thing when you had those calls, those what they call fraud calls come in to say you owe the tax money and they're going to get you. And even though you knew that it was somehow a fraud or it wasn't real, you had this clench in your stomach. And you have that same fear reaction when you go through customs at airport. You have that same feeling of authority around you, and the authoritative people that have control over you, and that can somehow annihilate you. That is a past lifetime. That is that lifetime when, if you didn't have the right papers when you crossed the borders, you could be killed. You could be tortured. And I think very often, if that is an emotional, fearful memory that sits in your cells, it can be triggered with money. Because with money, there is this thing that there is a power that controls our money. There is a power out there that has control of what we can do and not do with money.
Yeah, and again, I know one of the teachings with you, and then even when we went to visit Melissa in October, was saying that this way, the people on the planet this time round, it could be our first time actually working with money. So we're actually learning, both the positive of abundance, but also the challenge or the scarcity of money, because maybe this is the first time that we've actually had to work with money.
With you. I have clients who come to me and they just, I don't understand the point of money. It's like, why do we need money? And I'm like, don't you understand? We need money. It's the exchange. It's energy.
my car still, when you go to the dealership, we still have to pay with currency. There is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and different things. It was really interesting when that wave came, because there was all the people that really ignited and sort of brought into this thing. But it was we're still in this world today where we need money. So
I think we need to ask. We've got Joe's joined us. Joseph, Robert Moore. Hello, darlings. Marcia said, I had a friend call from the CRA telling me that the RCMP were coming to my door right away to put me in jail for tax fraud. I just laughed in the phone. Marcia, you made of sterner stuff than us, darling. Well done. So I think what we might want to ask our viewers tonight is, do you have an emotional reaction when either the money is good, flowing energetically in a good direction, or maybe in a negative direction or not so good? Do you have an emotional response to money? Because I think that's a very, very important question. Because whenever we speak to our clients, certainly about money, sometimes they cry, and sometimes they're in fear, sometimes they're so stressed, or they don't even want to turn up and talk about it. And it's linked into an emotion. And yes, a past life is relevant to explore, but you need to also go, why are you sitting with that emotion?
I think the emotion is important. It's that emotion. So it's either the excitement or the anxiety. Yeah. But it's also linked to the abundance. Yeah. As well as the scarcity. To say sometimes in lottery winners, it's that anxiety of the abundance, because all of a sudden when we talk about your ability or what you've earned, and we did this with where you've never earned, like the maximum I've earned is this, and yet we want to be we want to be millionaires, but we've never cracked we haven't broke the six, still kind of waiting to break the six-figure mark, and it's a different, and then the frequency feels different. If you break earning a certain amount of money and nobody in your family has done it, you're in uncharted waters, because the way the energy flows at that level, it's a different speed. Yeah. It feels almost like a different frequency, doesn't it? So it's about, and if you haven't adjusted that you deserve that frequency, or that you're strong enough to swim in that stream, in that currency of money, you can self-sabotage, you can lose the money, because a lot of people win the lotto lose the money. Yep. And I know it happens a lot with women that I deal with in my practice over the years, when their partners die and they inherit their money, within 12 months the money's gone. That guilt comes up. So do you have guilt around money? We'd like to know what your emotions are, so please tell us. Let's have a look. Has anybody told us what their emotions are, Mr. Producer? Come on, guys. We'd like the audience to tell us, do you have an emotional response around money? Because I think the core thing around the energy of the flow of money is what emotion we attach to it. It's like what Melissa said in a book, what we read earlier in the show. There's a projection we have on it, a belief we have on it. I think that's also what we're finding, though, is that if we were talking about relationships or sex, we'd have more comments than we talk about money, because people it's still kind of a faux pas that people don't want to talk about money, but we're talking about relationships and other things become more transparent than our we're not asking you to put your bank account balance up on the internet, but just it's more. But also we're asking sometimes because we're used to thinking about money and not necessarily asking how we feel about money, because we're moving into the heart,
and it's secretive. We have this secretive. Why are we secretive? What's the emotion around the secrecy? Why do you want to be secret about your money? And again, this could be, I call it a Pink Panther past lifetime. This could be a lifetime where you either somebody stole your money, so you're very careful about not telling people your status around your money at this point if you do have it, or you were the thief, you were the Pink Panther, you went out and kind of robbed people, and so you have this thing of people can rob you, so either one works, right? Or
the fear of the tax man, because if it becomes knowledgeable about how much money I may have or how much money I'm earning, then there's a fear that the tax man's going to come and get more than.
Oh yeah.
I may have to owe. And so as a quick little thing.
Why do people fear the tax man so much?
Know. I tell people that I actually want my clients to pay more tax this year than last year. And people say, well, what do you mean you want them to pay more tax? Exactly. And it's like, well, it's because your business is growing and you personally have been more successful. Yeah. You still have to pay your share. We figure out how to do it efficiently and following the tax laws. But you still have to, we live in Canada. We have fantastic things.
We've got fantastic things for our taxes. I do agree. I've never had a problem with paying my taxes because I know I get so much for it. So Evan says, dollars make me happy. Catherine says, so true, Dwayne. I'm at a loss as to what to comment, laugh out loud. It's true. Joanne, my emotions run from extreme happiness to extreme fear. That's interesting. So they're still, yeah, emotions are in it. That's why, because currency run, money flows, energy. So her emotions, the way your language you're using, Joan, is interesting, because you say you run from extreme happiness to extreme fear. So this says that she feels out of control of her money. Sorry, but we're just analyzing you right on the spot, Joanne. This feels like you haven't got control over the money. What would you say would help her?
Yeah, it's not, and it's part of that. We had this discussion before we started. It's the balance between control, awareness, and controlling, because I don't want to grab and hold on to my money too tight because it
stops flowing,
or it slips through our hands. And it's to have that awareness, and there's technology and different things, and it's simply as just opening up and looking at your bank balance, so that we're aware before we go and spend, and not just
know what's in your bank.
What's in your bank.
I'm not even going to ask that question for our audience now. I think we will struggle. Farah says, just scroll down for Michael. Let's just see what Farah said. I have a belief system that I'm completing where I believe I need to physically work hard to earn more, that my life is going to suffer if I earn more. This causes fear about welcoming more money into my life. Well, it's that responsibility when you earn more money. Yeah, Farah, we were speaking about it before the show, that people do block abundance and more money coming in because they have that. There definitely is a fear there, isn't there? Yeah. Again, an emotion. It's a fearful emotion. Oh.
But I have a client where I asked them the question, and their comment, and I said, well, the first step, was awareness. So, her was overwhelmed. I said, well, the first step is awareness, which is great, because now that we know what that emotion or what that piece is, now we know which way we're working. Is it excitement, or is it anxiety, or overwhelm?
Yeah.
And then once we know that, we know how to work with it.
Yeah, I think that we need to consider whether money actually gives a damn about whether we fear it or love it. I think that's a jolly good question. Do you think money gives a damn? Do you think money cares that you are either loving it or hating it, fearing it or thrilling in it?
Just money.
It's just energy.
Yeah.
It has no opinion.
No.
So why do we fear it? Stop.
We've attached our own beliefs. We've attached our own we've attached our emotions to it.
Yeah. Now, there's one of the things I teach my students is to leave money lying around the house, and to make it visible so that you can just see it as being part of your life. It's not hidden in a wallet or a purse or locked in a bank in a vault somewhere, that it actually lies around your house, that you see it, that it becomes part of everything you see every day. It's not just when there's transactions happening. And I know I love seeing money lying around the house. I don't like it when it's all put away. And that shifted me. So that could be a little tip I could give you guys tonight about money. Leave it lying around. Yeah.
Well, Catherine's saying, paying off debt and paying bills makes her happy. So I'll share a quick example. Again, how it works for me was, I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, I had an outstanding invoice for my business for some advertising that I had done, and I said, I don't really have the money at this time to pay the bill. So it was calling, and then finally I'm like, well, let's just get it done with, because it's using up more energy answering the phone and telling them I'll pay the check's in the mail. So I paid the bill, and then the next morning I look at my bank. Actually, I get an email from CRA, from Canada Revenue. I get an email from them, and I go into my bank account, and there was the amount that I had paid plus some in my bank account
back in.
As money that was owed to me from CRA, and it's just, and we talked about that it's a flow. So by putting sometimes this is a scary kind of where the fear comes in. It's that scary part is sometimes we pay something not knowing sort of where the money, like, where's the backflow? When's the money going to come back to me? And have to let go.
And that's faith. You got to have faith in that energy. You got to have faith in money as a system of energy or flow of energy, because the one thing I know about having been in debt, I've been nearly bankrupt twice. So that's why I teach people about the energy of money, because I had to learn this lesson the hard way. And I remember when I looked at all the people I owed money and I had all the debt lined up, I decided I'm just going to pay them each a little bit. So, and one, I'm going to pay a bigger amount. So, and then the next month I'd alternate. So one of them would get the bigger amount the next month. And I kept doing this, and literally within 3 months, it all began to turn around for me. And what I realized was I was treating money as if it was a free-flowing energy. And there wasn't a block where it was coming up against going, I can't pay. I went, even if I slip $1 through a crack and pay $1 to somebody, it meant that I've opened a crack for a flow to happen. The minute it started flowing this way, that back end opened up for more to come in, to top it up, plus more. Exactly what you just described. Yeah. Please, my darlings, this is from my heart. This is what saved me. It is to understand this part of money and how it flows. Is if you owe somebody money, other people will owe you money. It's a fact. If you owe somebody, to change that pattern, that loop that you get into, even if you pay them $5, just pay them $5. Put the money in, and just every month just pay $5, and just keep that flowing energy going, because the universe understands the flow of money, because it sees money is flowing in, it knows it needs to top up, but it always brings you more. That's just how it works. Yeah. I hope that's useful anyway. And and then like what Catherine says, will make you feel happy.
Yep.
Oh, Evan likes to smell money. Evan, you're just weird. Well,
it is and you were. We talk about that. There are the senses too. That when we start to asking about the feeling, it is that smell. It is seeing it. So that's why I said sometimes it is. It's good to go to the bank machine, actually withdraw, and actually again I tell my clients to do this, like to actually withdraw money and pay for things with cash for a week.
Touch it,
so that you can actually see that the physical exchange, as opposed to if I just use my credit card or debit card, I don't actually see or don't necessarily feel the exchange of.
It's a habit I've got into. If I don't use a credit card unless it's something that they only have a facility to take a credit card payment, and I always look out to pay with my debit card, and preferably when I'm out and about shopping, I love handling money. It's a fantastic thing, and those $50 notes are fantastic. I love them. And we do it. Canadian money is very pretty.
Yeah, and we do it at the farmers market too. So we now we're going to try it with the kids. To say, okay, here's $20, and go buy everything at the farmers market that you need for lunch. So you buy the apples, the bread, the cheese, And it's...
But now you see, now you're touching the cheese, and they're touching the money they receive. You know, that exchange is beautiful. Yeah. So I kind of think as if nobody else has once I was able to talk about money, see, I changed my financial stage. Money, it's a frequency, Joanne. I agree with you. We kind of come to the end of the show, but I think we need to summarize just what we spoke about, and that is that money doesn't give a damn how we feel about it.
Doesn't grow on trees either, but
it just flows.
It just flows, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't care whether you're happy or sad or fearful or ecstatic about it. It doesn't care. So have a look at what your emotional attachment is to money. What are you projecting onto it, and get rid of it, because it doesn't mean anything. Money has no judgment on you, whether you love it, hate it, or use it or not use it. It's just a currency that wants to flow. That's all it is. It just wants to move. Is there anything else we want to summarize?
It's pretty good. It's the
emotion. That's the block.
It's the emotion.
Yeah.
And that's the emotional block.
Yeah.
And that's a piece of, again, as a financial advisor, it's starting that conversation to say that this is, so introducing a spiritual, it's interesting, adding a spiritual component to something that's so sort of business and...
Yeah, because I mean, we know, talking to business coaches and people we deal with in our businesses, they are the clients we work with. They can't do just a straightforward financial, let's talk about making a cash flow projection for you, or let's talk about a financial budget for you, without addressing the person's emotional fears around it.
Yeah. And
so, you know, it's one of those things we say we're becoming integrative coaches. You know, it's important. Very important to address the financial fears. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed this one. We'd like you to share this if you thought it was interesting, and if you share it, it means that we get people to actually watch the 707 show, and they get to know what we do. It's very important. Without you sharing it, nobody sees the show. So we really rely on our viewers to go, hey, we like what you do. We turn up for free here Tuesday nights, 7 minutes past 7. If technology lets us. I think we were like 8 minutes past 7 tonight or something like that.
1 minute behind.
1 minute behind. But we turn up because we normally have these conversations in our day-to-day lives, or when we have meetings, but to do it in front of a camera and share it with an audience is something that we come out the spiritual closet to do. And that's what the 707 show and group is all about. We come out the spiritual closet. And next week we've got...
who's on next week?
Catherine Blue and Catherine Red.
Oh, the two Catherines. Wonderful.
We have a colour show. We have a colour show next week. They're coming to talk about Catherine Bork and Catherine Jujak. And both of them have been on their own on the show, and they're coming collectively, and they're coming to talk about boundaries. And spiritual and material boundaries. It's going to be a very exciting show as well.
I'll be sure to tune in.
Yeah, and if you have any suggestions for us for topics you'd like us to discuss on the 707 show, feel free to drop us a line, a comment in the 707 Facebook group.
Thanks for
Money doesn't care what we
Money
think
doesn't
about
care.
it. We've learned a big lesson tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Cheers.